The situation demands from us not only emotions, but force us also to practical work. And just want to tell you a few points which I wrote me down. It's of course staff and volunteers, as also in France. We have to educate these people and to give them a possibility for further education. We do it with help of our central Jewish organizations in Germany and also inside communities. I want just to point that our federal association is the biggest in Germany with 8 Jewish communities and more than 17,000 Jews as members. Of course, we have to educate our community members that they, simple things that they will take care. For example, they are on the way to synagogue for their religious service, how to behave themselves and so on. Today, for example, is a big seminar in one city in North Rhine about security in the Jewish communities in Germany, how to behave when a big lorry will drive in the place where so many people or so many Jews. And this is the important thing, staff and volunteers. Then security devices, of course, also the financial part of security work, donation and also refinancing of our costs. What is important to say that we get money sometimes from city government or from federal government or from Germany itself. The cooperation with police, city government, state security, other Jewish communities in Germany, other Jewish organizations in Germany and also abroad. Information and monitoring and statistics is very important, and we're following it every day. Organization of security work. These are the main points of our work. And to say about cooperation, we support Israel and Israel support us. We take part in seminars in Israel and we ask when we have some questions to help us about equipment for security or even further education of our staff. We get all the time help. That's the main points. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I want to say in Yiddish, schwer ist sein Yid, it's hard to be a Jew. It refers to centuries of persecution of the Jewish people who, until the establishment of the state of Israel, were looking for a safe haven. Knowing history, we know that there were few such places in Europe. It is worth recalling that in its time, Poland was such a safe place where Jewish life, culture, and religion could develop. It seemed that after the Holocaust tragedy, anti-Semitism would disappear once and for all. Unfortunately, today we see what is happening. In Poland, of course, anti-Semitism did not end after the war. But today is only in internet. I cannot say that Poland is absolutely free of anti-Semitism, but beyond doubt, it is a safe place for Jews. Poland is a country where crowds of religious Jews visit tombs of tzaddikim in old shtetls, a place where, thanks to the initiative of Lily Kessenbaum from Nice, from France, and our association, we opened the first Jewish museum in Europe in the small city Radomsko, from the tzaddik of Radomsko. Poland is a place where during Jewish festivals, thousands of people dance in the markets and streets to the rhythm of Jewish music, where Jewish and Israeli film festivals are held with crowds of viewers. A few years ago, in the city of Wrocław, Breslau, a puppet depicting a Jew was burned during an anti-Islamic demonstration by a small far-right group. These photos spread through the media. However, a few months later, Social and Cultural Association of Jews in Poland organized a few-hour-long concert of Jewish music on the market of the same city, almost in the same place, even gathered several thousand viewers, but these photos did not appear in the European and world media. I do not need to remind you that Poland usually does not vote against Israel during European Union or United Nations votes. And about BDS in Poland, no one has heard about it. Meanwhile, in this world, nothing that around 300,000 Israelis visits Poland last year. And in large cities, Jews from outside Poland are more and more often buying apartments, feeling safe in our country. Strange. When it comes to the perception of Poland by the media and some politicians in Europe, it exposes or even creates so-called media facts about anti-Semitic behavior in Poland, is nothing real threats and their home countries. Our Jewish friends from Sweden say directly that it is only in Warsaw that they learn about what is happening in their country. Russia is particularly shamelessly falsifying history. President Putin is trying to crumble European unity using anti-Polish rhetoric in the context of anti-Semitism. Fathers of two of my colleagues who are sitting in this room spent many years in the Soviet gulags and got to know the real face on the system, which here in the West still finds many admirers. Historical revisionism is dangerous, especially when mixed with current politics. It is high time to wipe our glasses and realistically assess really anti-Semitism is not an exclusive feature of the political right. We in the countries that survived communism know this best. The Jewish people have the right to a free life without hatred and without fear of their own security, and that's how life in Poland is today. Thanks God, Jewish events, festivals and celebrations still do not need excessive protection in Poland. Many events can be entered without metal detection gates. To find this out, we invite you to visit Poland more often. Not to take my words as propaganda. A good opportunity will be April 19th, the anniversary of the outbreak of the Warsaw's Ghetto Uprising, which commemoration celebrations has been organized by our association. I believe that the European Jewish Association delegation should be present on this day in Warsaw. In my opinion, is within the European Union that we Jews as Europeans should work closely together, remember better than others about our own history, and look forward to the future knowing that we can change reality if we really want to, without fear. Asheinem Dank. Thank you.
Excuse me, some people are asking about the program, and not everybody knows, but in their name tags that they got today, the program is stuck into that plastic envelope where their name tags are on.
Hi. Friends, I'm coming from Ukraine, from a country whose president, probably the only one in Europe, is Jewish. Vladimir Zelensky. And in the same time, I'm coming from a country which American Anti-Defamation League put on a list of the most anti-Semitic countries in Europe, after Poland. And I'd like to say this in order to show you the complexity of the issue when we speak about anti-Semitism in Ukraine. They use this, the presidency of Zelensky, in both ways. They say, I mean, nationalistic groups, political parties, activists, civil society, and many people say that this is a clear example of how Jews taken over Ukraine. Zelensky is saying in the interview that there is no anti-Semitism in Ukraine because he is Jewish. So the truth is somewhere in the middle. I was witnessing, because I was born and raised in the Soviet Union, and I perfectly remember what was going on there, the state anti-Semitism. I was witnessing all these 30 years of Ukrainian independence since the collapse of the Soviet Union. The last 5 years is unbelievable rise of anti-Semitism, specifically and especially anti-Semitic rhetoric, especially in the social media. We've got, by our estimation, hundreds and thousands of everyday comments and rhetorics and statements every day, anti-Semitic, which we count as anti-Semitic incidents. We don't have, or very rare and extremely rare anti-Semitic physical violence against people. Probably because we have a very small Islamic community, probably because we don't have immigration from the East, but this is not the issues yet for Ukraine, the physical violence, attacks, physical attacks. But we are facing the things which no Jewish community in Europe were facing since the war. We lost part of our community by the annexation of Crimea. About 10,000 or more Jews became citizens, became Russia by annexation of Crimea. We lost more than 10,000 Jews, I mean, not physically, but by the war in the East, by the conflict, aggression of Russia in the east of Ukraine. There are two very large communities are now isolated. Was Donetsk and Lugansk. There were thousands of people. Some of them had to immigrate, to migrate, to relocate inside of Ukraine. For example, now in Kyiv, you can find a Donetsk Jewish community. These are the people who were forced to leave their homes and to go in Kyiv with their own rabbi, by the way. The chief rabbi, Pinchas Vyshetsky, who is chairman now Donetsk community in Kyiv. Rabbi Assman, he initiated a project. He built a few houses outside of Kyiv for these Jews who relocated from Donetsk. This place is called Anatevka. Anatevka is after Shalom Aleichem, famous Fiddler on the Roof, a place in, it's actually where near Kyiv. But I feel that we believe that security and protection of Jewish community is not only physical protection, like I saw the entrance doors to this building. It's amazing. I never seen anything like this, the thickness. But we feel, we Ukrainian Jews, the Ukrainian Jewish community, which were totally annihilated during the Holocaust. 90% of us were killed. Only a few survived. But we were able to, within these 30 years, to revive our institutions. But we do have problems with the government, as you made the question, what I can say about our government. Our government encourages nationalistic groups. Our government encourages glorification of Nazi collaborators, mass murderers, and murderers of Jews. Literally, there are hundreds of monuments, streets, named after killers of Jews. You can't imagine in the West. You can't imagine in France, for example, a monument to a policeman who were escorting Jews to the Nazi death camps. Our government continuously rejecting invitation to become member of International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance. They continuously rejecting adopting of IRA working definition. We have in the criminal code an article, 161, for violation of equality. It's somewhere near anti-Semitism. But no one, in 30 years, no one was ever convicted. We have anti-Semitic incidents every day, various. Vandalism on mass graves, Holocaust mass graves, vandalism on Jewish monuments. Shalom Aleichem latest was vandalized with swastikas in Kyiv, center of Kyiv. Babi Yar, whatever. No one was ever convicted because they did this article that it's initially is not workable. So no one could be punished. So we have, and therefore I'm finishing and asking that if in practical ways, Ukraine is vulnerable and dependent. But Europe is making a lot of help to Ukraine. And in the same time, Europe, and European institutions, and the Jewish institutions as well, should press Ukraine for adopting things that I just mentioned. For not to be in a state of denial. Because our relations is denial. I mean, they deny the issue of anti-Semitism in the country. They totally deny. You can see there was public statements by Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine. They said that there was an ADL survey, Ministry for Diaspora of Israel, leaders of American Congresses. They always deny the issue. From our Jewish president towards the law enforcement at the lowest level. So my point is that we need your support in things which local Ukrainians do not want to listen from us, from Jews. they can listen it from European government, from ambassadors on anti-Semitism, which are present in this audience. As I understand, there are a few of special ambassadors on anti-Semitic issues. Thank you.
Thank you very much, our panelists, to be part of this panel discussion. We have heard many serious words from different countries, description of the Jewish community, security situation from different European countries, and I would like to keep your attention the words from Ukraine. Rest of this conference, probably, hopefully this subject come up again. So thank you very much for our panelists, and please have a seat on your seat. Yeah, the claps for them. Thank you very much. And I would like to invite the first keynote speaker. We have to continue the program, and we are on delay at this moment. I would like to invite to the floor Mr. Vince Szalai Bobrovnitsky, the State Secretary of Hungarian Prime Minister Office. Please, the floor is yours.